All right, today I'm going to show you a little bit how to change a player from low fade to high draw through skill acquisition. I had a 50-year-old man I've given a few lessons to. He wanted to, hit his driver a little further, hit it a little straighter like every, 13 handicap like he is. Used to be a single digit, kind of getting older and losing some distance, so trying to help him find a better swing pattern for his driver. You can see highlighted in yellow is our old swing. His old swing, not bad, everything kind of creeping around the zero mark with club path, hitting some decent shots, very straight. He was happy with these. He said, man, this is the best I've hit it actually in a while. And I was like, all right, we can make it a little bit better. So we worked through a few things. We set out to change his ball flight from a fade to a draw. Noticed it was very low as well, so you can see the height of these is hovering around 60 to 65. Some even down to 45 there. The highest was 74, so not a very high ball flight. And height for him would be key to a little bit more distance. So that's kind of where we started. We said, all right, we need to hit it higher without adding any spin. So we looked at angle of attack. So our first skill was to have him hit up. So our next set of shots here in the purple, it took us only about 3 to get there. And we've got our angle of attack moved in the right direction. So we moved his angle of attack to the positive. Not by much, and he felt it was really easy for him to do that, and we kind of just changed his address position, had him tilt back just a little bit with his spine. Our next skill was to get the club path moving to the right. So skill 2 here, moving the path to the right. And you can see the blue over to the right of the screen. Not exactly shots you'd like to see. So telling him the only thing we care about is moving the club path to the right. And we got some terrible, terrible results with the ball flight, but we found that it was pretty easy for him to move the path to the right if he wasn't worried about making the ball curve back to the left. So just said focus on the path moving right, and we did that here, and these hits were terrible as you see, but the path was definitely moving right. So then our third skill for him to acquire is getting the club face left of path. So keeping the same skill, or the same feeling, of moving that club inside out to the right, we had to add the third skill in, which was obviously getting that face a little bit to the left. So as we did that, boom, we hit some fantastic golf shots. To say that it was all done then would be a lie. Some of these shots were this one was one of our 37th hits, so one of our last 22nd hits. So it took us about 20 shots to really get into where we wanted to be and to really change, the flight pattern of this ball. But as soon as he did that, we saw the immediate result. But we were very methodical about using angle of attack first, followed by club path, and then working the club face back to target. And actually his exaggeration was swinging out like he was for these the blue balls over here, and then pointing his club face to a bunker that was probably where the red golf balls are over here. And that was his feeling. So it was a huge exaggeration, probably a 40-degree difference in path and face, but really it wasn't, as you can tell. But then as we worked through, there was still some regression. So you've got to stay patient when you're trying to get a player to acquire some skill. He's going to revert back. So 36 shots in. This was after a few of these really good hits. So after 28, he hit one right down the pipe there, and then dropped back into a little bit of regression. Some of them pretty bad regressions even. And we just stayed patient, kept working that club inside out and trying to get the club face to go left. So then after a few swings, he started to get really comfortable with moving the face left. And you can see a few shots here where he actually overdid the skill and moved it too far to the left. And he got a feel for the club face being too far left. So he found the extreme of one, club path moving right. The extreme of the other was the face pointed left. And then we got to find a nice middle that ended up being probably 40 yards further in total yardage compared to his old swing. So we moved methodically through 3 skill sets here for him to hit the ball further and straighter. And when he left the lesson, he was super excited to go play this weekend and was looking forward to hitting some nice draws that looked more like this for him. Nice big draw for him down the middle, and probably some of the longest drives he's hit in the last 2 years. So when you're taking a player through different skills, make sure you're methodical and make them stick to the skill you're trying to get them to learn. I found it was very hard for him to want to swing it to the right when he was hitting big blocks out. And then just having him be patient, and once he got the club square like he wanted to, we started to see more shots like this. So completely changed his shot pattern from this screen here, from pretty decent strikes, not exactly the furthest, to this screen, hitting the ball over 250 when before it was lucky to get to 220. He was super happy, and so was I with the results. So skill acquisition, one by one, should help you get the results you and your student are looking for.